Well, good day, everybody. This is going to be really quick, but um, you all may or may not know I have ADHD, so it takes me a while to learn lessons. Also, my son has autism. He has PDD-NOS, which stands for Pervasive Developmental Disorder Not Otherwise Specified, and essentially it's kind of sort of like high-functioning autism, meaning that his primary disability is kind of like lack of communication or bad communication. So physically he's 12, but mentally he's more like 6. Okay? So, real quick, I wanted to ask you guys if you have any kind of disorder or infirmity, however you say it, disability, how does it help or deter your progress with the spiritual stuff? Does it help you focus better? Do you receive better? Do you learn better? Or does it deter you? Does it make things harder for you to receive messages? Can you not dream? Can you not feel the presence of the spirit? Does it help, or does it make things harder for you? So for me personally, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. I have the ability to hyper focus on things, meaning that nothing can sway my attention once I'm heavily focused on something, and I will be like a super learner when that happens. But other times, because of my ADHD and anxiety, I start projects I don't finish, and I can't keep attention to save my life. And this also reflects when I'm getting messages from the other side. They come in repetition. Like, a lot of people have them in repetition, but they come in repetition to the point to where they're practically knocking on the door, because I don't hear them, I don't feel them, I don't see them, I don't sense them, or I just don't get it. You know what I mean? It's like they spiritually have to like knock me upside the head and be like, this is a message. And when that happens, finally, I'm able to like, okay, well, let me hone in on this, and then we'll lay it all out and we'll move on. But oddly enough, like, all the spirits that I've had interaction with have been chthonic, or what you would call like underworld type spirits. They have somewhat to do with death or the underworld, and it's very Saturn based, the energy of Saturn. So if it has that kind of energy, it'll kind of keep my attention more than others, like a war god or a love god or a money god, or something like that. That doesn't do anything for me. So if it's within that realm, then it's got my attention. But otherwise, it would be very difficult for me to learn about it. Does it not fit that category? So, you like my shirt? It says Timmy has a visitor. Anyway, so yeah, I'm very much the squirrel type of person in every aspect of my life. My son, on the other hand, a lot of people would see his autism and they would be like, ooh, boom, automatically, he's gifted. No, he's not. He's very much in tune to this material plane. He's very much focused, because he's got like a 6-year-old brain. He's very much focused on the here and now, what he can see, what he can feel, what he can taste, what he can touch. He's a Taurus. And that's not saying anything bad about Tauruses before somebody bites my head off. I love Tauruses. They're just so easy to get along with. They're straight and to the point, and just very simple, very smart. But it's like, if it's not in front of me, I don't get it. It's not that he doesn't have an imagination. He does, very much so. But if I try to explain religion or spirituality to him, it just won't register. And especially won't register the way I want it to register. If my son was brought up in the type of household I was brought up in, I mean, they either would have just totally given up on spirituality for him, or back in those days, they probably would have been like, he's possessed, but no, that's taking it too far. But it wouldn't have worked the same way that it worked on me. On me, I understood, growing up in a Catholic house, I understood sin. I understood being condemned. I understood eternal damnation. I understood the devil. I understood these constructs. I understood these concepts. But he, on the other hand, if I tried to explain what the devil is to him, I'd probably just have to keep it very simplistic and say the devil's a bad guy, and if you do something bad, then you're doing the devil's work, but even then he'll be like, I'm gonna go play my video games later, so this video is basically, there are so many mood disorders, there are so many disabilities out there. And I know that a lot of you watching have those. And it's the thing, I'm not shaming anybody. I actually think that the differences in people are very beautiful. I actually enjoy the flaws in people, or what society deems as flaws. I have a Venus Aquarius. I like the weird things, or what society deems as weird. But anyway, so how does it play out for you if you have, like bipolar disorder? You have, ADHD like I do. You have autism. Do you have schizophrenia? Do you have dissociative disorder? Are you antisocial disorder, borderline, whatever, depression, anxiety, PTSD? Do you have drug addiction? That is a technically a disorder. So how does that affect you with your connection on your spiritual journey? Does it help you, or does it hurt you? Or is it somewhere in between? How are your dreams? How do you receive messages from the other side? If you do, maybe you don't. How does that reflect in your practice? So I'm just curious how it plays out for you. Like I said, for me personally, sometimes it helps because I'll just, for me, it's like 50 tabs on the internet, on your internet browser. It's like 50 tabs are open at once, and I'm trying to pay 100% attention to each and every one, but I can't. And sometimes those 50 tabs turn into 100 when I'm receiving messages from them. It's just like, do this, do this, do this. This is important. This is important. This is important. I'm just kind of like looking at it like a bunch of raindrops just falling on my head, and it's like I'll have that end of the spectrum, and then on the other end, I'll have moments where it's just kind of like a free flow of information, and I'll get bored. So it won't register. So that's why I like to write everything down. I have a dream journal, and I have a bunch of spiral notebooks where I write down what went on that day or what I'm experiencing. Or you can use your phone app, like a notepad on your phone, to write those things down. Like I'll get a lot of ringing in my ears, and I'll pay extra close attention, or I dream. Everybody dreams every night, but I remember my dreams every night. They're that vivid. And sometimes they're keepers, sometimes not so much. But that's the ADD kicking in. I'm going to go now. But yeah, I just wanted to put this out there to ask you, where do you sit with it? Does it help or does it hinder? And if you don't mind sharing with us, what is it exactly you're working with? What is the disability that you have based on what society deems you? Do you put stock into the whole, everybody that has special needs is like extra super spiritual and connected to the other side? Because I can attest to you that my son is not. I'm not. And some of the people I know that are close to me with those situations are not. So I don't put 100% stock into the whole, autism kids are special, or that people with disabilities are all special in the sense that they're like better than everybody else. No, there are some neurotypical, some regular people that put in the work that deserve that recognition. I don't think anybody's better than anybody else. I think that some people are born with the capability to be in tuned more naturally, whereas other people have to work for it. I was one of the people that had to work on a good majority of it. But I don't think that anybody's any more special than anybody else. That's my opinion. I think that we all have our talents. We all have our abilities. You may be able to do something that I can't, and that's awesome because I'll learn from you and you can learn from me. But that's it. Enough of my rambling, and leave the comments below. And I'd be really interested to read where you guys in particular sit with this particular situation, you know? And it helps me to understand how we're going to move forward into the future with us as this generation that's more understanding and a little bit more open-minded than the generations prior to us. So let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.